Hi guys, for today's video we will discuss the importance of fertilizing cactus, how and when to apply it, and all the tips and tricks that you need to know to keep your cactus looking their best. As many of you know, unlike other plants, cacti have adapted to harsh arid environments with poor soil quality. Due to this, a common misconception is that cacti do not need fertilizer. This could be true if the cactus is growing in its natural habitat. But if your cactus is growing in a nutrient-poor soil mix or in a container, it may benefit from a light application of fertilizer. Let's talk about the importance of fertilizer. Fertilizer provides essential nutrients. Cactus in containers or pots need to be fertilized because the nutrients in the soil mix can be depleted over time. Fertilizer provides nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other trace elements. These nutrients are important for cacti to grow new tissues, produce flowers, and develop strong roots. Fertilizer enhances cactus growth. Fertilizer can also help promote healthy plant growth, leading to larger and more vibrant flowers, vigorous growth, and improved stress tolerance. Fertilizer increases cactus resistance to damage from pests and diseases. Cactus that receive proper nutrition through fertilizers are better able to resist disease and pests. This is because healthy cactus plants have stronger immune system and are less vulnerable to attacks from pests and disease. Fertilizer increases cactus stress tolerance. A healthy cactus can easily cope with stress, such as drought or extreme temperatures. Fertilizer helps maintain cell wall integrity and can help prevent damage from environmental stressors. Some fertilizer can improve a plant water efficiency by helping it absorb and retain water more effectively. What are the required nutrients for a cactus? Before choosing a fertilizer, you have to know first the basic nutrients a cactus needs. The three most important macronutrients that a cactus needs are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Nitrogen. Nitrogen is responsible for the growth and development of new tissue in cactus. However, a cactus doesn't need as much nitrogen as other plants, and too much can be harmful. Phosphorus. Phosphorus is responsible for the development of strong roots, flowers, and fruits in a cactus. It also helps with photosynthesis and energy transfer within the cactus. Potassium. Potassium is important for the overall health and vigor of a cactus. It helps regulate water balance, aids in photosynthesis, and improves stress tolerance. We also have secondary macronutrients. This includes calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Calcium is important for strong cell walls in plants, which can make them more resistant to damage from pests. Magnesium, on the other hand, is essential for photosynthesis, transportation, protein synthesis, enzyme activation, and resistance to drought. It aids in the utilization of nutrients and also neutralizes soil acids and toxic compounds. Meanwhile, sulfur is involved in protein synthesis, chlorophyll production, vitamin production, and disease resistance. There are also micronutrients or trace elements. These are essential elements that plants require in relatively small quantities. Although needed in smaller amounts compared to macronutrients, micronutrients play vital roles in various plant processes. They function mainly as a catalyst to plants' process and utilization of other elements. Different types and form of fertilizers. Organic fertilizer are made from organic or naturally occurring materials such as plant and animal waste. This includes compost, manure, and vermicast. These fertilizers provide a slow, steady release of nutrients and improve soil structure over time. However, they can be more expensive than synthetic fertilizer, and they may not provide a precise balance or there is no measurable amount of specific nutrients. Synthetic fertilizer, on the other hand, are made up of chemical components that contain necessary nutrients. If you're looking to give your cactus a quick boost, this is likely the best option for you. They are readily available, cheaper, and contain a precise and consistent balance of nutrients. However, overuse can result in nutrients imbalances, toxicity, or burn. Fertilizer also come in a few different forms. The most commonly used in cacti are liquid, soluble, and those that are called slow or controlled-release granular fertilizer. Liquid fertilizer refers to any kind of liquid solution that provide nutrients for the cactus. These are often diluted with water. Soluble fertilizer are fertilizer that can be easily dissolved in water. It can be applied to the cactus body or directly on the base of the cactus. With water-soluble fertilizer, it is easy to control the precise amount of nutrients available to your plants. Slow-release or controlled-release fertilizer are granular and are designed to release nutrients over an extended period of time. When to apply fertilizer? When to apply fertilizer to a cactus depends on several factors including the type of cactus, the growth stage of the plant, the type of fertilizer, and the environmental conditions. First and foremost, you have to consider when is the active growth period of the cactus. Cacti typically have an active growth period during the spring and summer months. This is when they require more nutrients for their growth and blooming. It is best to fertilize during this time to support their growth and flowering. Another consideration is the surrounding environment. Environmental factors such as temperature and sunlight exposure can influence the nutrient requirements of cacti. Warmer temperatures and increased sunlight exposure may lead to increased nutrient uptake and growth, requiring more frequent fertilization. Similarly, if the cactus is placed indoors or in lower light conditions, it may have lower nutrient requirements. Avoid fertilizing cacti during the rainy season. Lastly, you have to consider the cacti. Newly potted cactus doesn't need fertilizer. You may want to fertilize them after 3 to 6 months or when they are stable. And for cacti that are pot-bound or root-bound, you may want to fertilize them regularly as their soil mix is depleted with the required nutrient. How to apply fertilizer? When applying fertilizer to cacti, it is important to follow the recommended dosage provided on the fertilizer packaging. If the fertilizer you are using is not designed for cacti, you can use a weaker concentration of the recommended dosage, as cacti are slow-growing plants and are sensitive to over-fertilization. For example, one of the fertilizer I usually use is soluble fertilizer. I apply this one when the temperature starts to get warmer and the sunlight exposure increase. This indicates the start of summer or blooming season for most of my cacti, which means that they need nutrients to support their flower and growth. The brand I use is Siam Bloom Fertilizer. This fertilizer is suited for spraying in the leaves and drenching in the soil mix. The recommended dosage of this fertilizer is 1/2 teaspoonful for every 1 liter of water. The frequency is around 1 to 2 times a week. Since I am using this for cacti, I use 1/2 teaspoon for every 2 liters of water and apply it once every 2 weeks. Other fertilizer I use are slow-release or controlled-release granulated fertilizer. There are several ways to apply these. First is basal application or dibbling. This involves putting granules in the soil mix before planting the cacti. You will add first your soil mix, then add the granulated fertilizer. Set the cactus directly on top of this mixture and cover the plant roots completely with the soil mix. Another one is mixing. Add the recommended amount of granulated fertilizer to your soil mix, then mix it thoroughly. Use the soil mix completely and avoid storing the soil mix, since the granulated fertilizer will start activating eventually. Lastly, top dressing. This one is the easiest. All you have to do is to evenly sprinkle the granulated fertilizer on the top of the soil. When you water the cactus, the water will start the fertilizer activation and help it spread deep into the soil. Here are some tips and tricks and what to remember when using a fertilizer. First, when choosing a fertilizer for your cactus, choose a fertilizer that has a lower nitrogen level and contains microelements. This will ensure that your cactus receive a well-rounded blend of nutrients. Don't just focus on the NPK. You have to make sure that your cactus receive complete nutrients to avoid deficiency and over-fertilizing. Proper balance and availability of micronutrients are essential for optimal plant growth and productivity. Second, water your cactus before fertilizing. Before applying soluble fertilizer to your cactus, be sure to water them thoroughly to moisten the soil mix. This will help prevent burning or damaging the cactus' delicate roots. Third, dilute the fertilizer. Cactus don't require high level of nutrients, so it is important to dilute the fertilizer. A weaker concentration will work. For example, if you're using a general plant fertilizer, you may want to use half or a quarter of the recommended amount. Fourth, if you have the chance, water the cactus with rainwater to flush away the salts that may accumulate when using synthetic fertilizer. Fifth, fertilize cacti only during their active growing season, which is typically in the spring and summer months or during warmer temperatures and longer daytime. Avoid using fertilizer during the rainy season as cacti need sun exposure to process the nutrients. Sixth, if you're worried about over-fertilizing your cacti, consider using a slow-release or controlled-release fertilizer. This fertilizer releases nutrients slowly over time, which can help prevent nutrient burn and other issues. 7. Do not use soluble fertilizer for newly potted cacti. If you have recently repotted your cacti, it is best to wait at least 3 to 6 months before fertilizing. Newly repotted cacti are more sensitive to fertilizer and may be more prone to nutrient burn. 8. When applying controlled release granular fertilizer as a top dressing, it is recommended to distribute them in equal amount in the soil mix or around the cacti. 9. Use blooming fertilizer during the blooming season to support the cactus growth and flower, since they will need more nutrients for their reproductive phase. 10. Use biostimulants to enhance the cactus uptake of nutrients. I will be discussing this in the next video. Here are the fertilizer I use. Please note that these products are not paid recommendation. The soluble fertilizer I use are CM Bloom Fertilizer, ICL Peters Professional All-Rounder, and ICL Peters Professional Bloom Boosters. These fertilizer contain macro and micronutrients, which are needed by the cacti. CM Bloom Fertilizer also contains vitamin B1, which is a biostimulant and helps in the uptake of nutrients. For the granulated fertilizer, I use ICL Osmocoat Triple 14 with trace elements and Meristem Azellai. I highly recommend Meristem Azellai. It is an organo-mineral fertilizer that provides nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, trace elements, and humic acid. The addition of humic acids and organic matter improves the physical and chemical characteristic of the soil mix and therefore its fertility and absorption of nutrients. By following these tips and tricks, you can help ensure that your cacti receive the right amount of nutrients to thrive and stay healthy. I hope you find this information helpful. You can support my channel by sending Super Thanks gift and using the affiliated links below. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos about cactus care. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.